Someone Single, Someone Blue is the 20th episode of the first season of Cheers. This is directed, of course, by James Burrows, and we have a brilliant cast. Now, to be honest, the actual narrative isn't that fascinating. The events that happen are okay, but I didn't think they were hilarious, whereas some episodes are. But what I did love was the casting. And that really helped to carry the narrative during moments when I thought things were maybe not as interesting as they could be. And I will also say, without spoilers just now, I love the ending. But I might discuss the ending with a spoiler warning in a moment. But Diane's mother is coming to visit, and Diane's mother is played by the fabulous Glynis Johns. The casting is perfect. Johns was just amazing, and I absolutely loved her performance. And that, I think, worked so well. The casting there was really important. And if they hadn't got the casting right, I feel like the narrative would have just not carried itself very well. But Johns did an absolutely amazing job. We also have the first appearance of Paul Willson, who plays, he plays Paul for the most part, but the character was called Gregg in this episode. He appeared as a minor character in quite a lot of episodes of Cheers going forward, so this is the start of something pretty awesome with the Gregg/Paul character. The reason Mrs. Chambers has come to visit is because Diane has to get married now, or her mother will lose her money. It was a very peculiar requirement that her father made, but it is what it is, and her mother tries to get Diane to get married, but who would Diane possibly marry? And I won't say more than that just now, but I will with a spoiler warning in a moment. But it's such a ludicrous concept that it's quite fascinating, and I genuinely, I've seen this episode a few times now, but I remember not really knowing where it would go, and it would be quite predictable, and that was quite good. But I will say the specifics. If I were to name everything that happened in this, not a lot happens. It's quite a slow narrative. But because we have some great characters and some well-written dialogue as well, it is enough to sustain my attention. And I did enjoy the episode, but not for the specifics or the intricacies of the narrative, but for the overarching unpredictability and for the characters as well. So it's usually, usually the narrative, and there are a lot of funny things I can recount. Not so much with this episode, but that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it. It was just a different kind of experience. I hope that makes sense. It makes sense in my head. So I guess spoilers from now. I'll discuss some specifics. Some things that I thought were quite interesting, and including the ending. So, I guess this one's not really a spoiler, but I just have to say I love Coach in this. Coach was just on top form, as always. But actual spoilers from now. It made perfect sense that Diane was going to marry Sam. And as they're about to get married, they start to fight. Diane was kind of being really unreasonable, to be fair, which is not unusual. And she starts to have a go at Sam for ridiculous things, and then Sam gives as good as he gets. And I think that exchange was exceptionally well written, and I really enjoyed it. And then, I have to say, even though the specifics of the narrative were not that great, and it wasn't that funny, it was funny, but I can't tell you exactly why. I can't really quote anything. I can't say this facial expression was great or anything. It had a warm, fuzzy feeling, but I don't think it was the funniest episode. But the ending was fantastic, and definitely an unexpected ending for two reasons. The first is that nobody expects the butler to come forward and say, "Oh, you can marry me, or come and be with me. I have a lot of money." And that's interesting enough, and that's a surprise. And the feeling there is that, he must have saved up a lot of money. He's very sensible with money. He's been working for them for a very long time. No, he's been embezzling. It was just one thing after another, and it was so wonderful. And the way Mrs. Chambers responded to it, I thought was brilliant. Really, really well done. So ultimately, I really thoroughly enjoyed Someone Single, Someone Blue. I enjoyed it for reasons that are different to other episodes, but that just means it's a little bit different, not bad. Definitely a good episode. Nearly at the end of season 1, which is a little bit heartbreaking because it means we're one step closer to being finished. Although it does mean I'm one step closer to being with Rebecca, which I'm really excited about. Still got 4 seasons, but never mind. Someone Single, Someone Blue is a very unpredictable unexpected episode, great cast, interesting narrative, if not the most funny, but really thoroughly enjoyed it nonetheless.